Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, Meathead.
So what was the reason Andres didn't have a CEO?
Because we didn't find anybody that was worth a shit in the first 5 or 6 acquisitions. So now he's the de facto default CEO, and he's good at it. And so now we're going to go elephants. We've got 2 years of this. We've built up 80 million in value. And now we're going to go to elephants. And in 2 years, we probably will build 500 million in value. And I'll be highly surprised if the first 1 or 2 or 3 deals we do, we don't find a capable, qualified CEO. Although, now he said he had 180 employees there, remember? We have 860 employees now. And he says that, it's crazy. And we don't have any HR. We have a girl, kind of, who part of her job is to take care of the HR complaints. But we need, now maybe Andres will surprise himself that he's going to be able to do it. He's a meticulous, extremely focused, extremely organized guy. And that's all. All being a CEO is project management. But he's not going to be able to look for money in deals. But now we have all the money we need. We're the fastest growing mid-market, whatever we're called, in Germany. And in all the magazines, and we're the fastest growing in that market. And they go from 0 to whatever the revenue you produce, and we're the fastest. So maybe he'll stay the CEO. Because once you have the deal flow and the money flow, there's not much for the CEO to do to get in trouble. Another question. Yes, sir.
Question. First one, is it necessary for industry expert to have a transaction experience?
Is it necessary to have an industry expert?
For industry expert to have a transaction experience on our board?
Of course. You mean, do you need an industry expert on your board?
Yes.
Absolutely. You need three. For you probably need 8. Absolutely.
And
what's the second question?
When we contact accounting and law firm, we are making directly call to the partners, or?
No, you're making a call. You're calling into business development. They're going to ask you, how can I help you with this call? And I'd like to talk to the business development partner. They may not have a business development partner. And it says, what general area? You go healthcare. This is what vertical, sir? And you'll go home health. Home health. And then there'll be a partner or 2 that's in charge of that. And then they'll put you through to that. And remember, they all have business budgets, development budgets. Remember, you have 2 times to make a first impression. So the first time you have to stick your dick in your mouth is when you're talking to the partner. And it depends how, and you practice. Yeah, and some of the kids just read the fucking card, and it sounds like they're reading. And when you're reading Chinese to English or vice versa, it doesn't come across the same. It doesn't. And you've heard me, I was always the most prepared. Because I didn't know anything about anything. Wall Street, I took the same, I didn't know anything about anything. And then whatever I learned in school was detrimental. And for those of you, again, that have the most education, and you've used your education at all, mostly engineering, it'll be a little tougher for you. Question? Yes, sir.
Just checking if Andrea's EBITDA, collective EBITDA, is around 10 million right now?
No, Andrea's EBITDA is 80, I think 14 million. Yeah.
Valuation then times 8.
Yeah. But no, that's what E&Y says. That's not what I say. Because if we could sell at 15, 16 times EBITDA to a private equity firm tonight, because we've got mass. We've got 20 of these little fuckers. And they don't want to do the dirty work. It's not nothing, well, it is dirty. You're not going to see any private equity guy from Connecticut pull out a dead body with shit flowing out of it. That will not happen ever. They're going to hire Indian slaves from Mangalore to come in. And so when they say dirty work, they mean they're not going to get their hands dirty. They're not going to get their manicured nails and, they broke a nail on the computer. That's the most work those assholes do. You know how you see women break nails? Do women still break nails? Yeah? Well, fuck. You should have gone into private equity then. You'd better off there. Because the men break nails there. I don't know a guy that's a real guy that would ever complain about a hangnail. And men do now. They got a bum manicure. Now, I've heard them say get a bum fuck. That happens all the time. But then again, remember, even the worst fuck I ever had was terrific. But now they complain about the manicures they get. Men! Grown men! That's where we are. It looks like a few of you have complained about your fucking manicures too. Anything else? Yes, sir.
What's the process of selling the company when you're ready?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Now, you were going to ask questions earlier, and your hand went down.
When did Andreas set up the company?
He set it up at that first board meeting in August of 2018. He went to the class in April of 2018, the same that Nellie went to, same class. And that's where we had the 8 after dinner drinks. And the board was formed, the shares were given out, and the board was told, or he was given mandate to acquire the companies up to $10 million in purchase price. And the first 5, we agreed on 4 of the LOIs. He gave a presentation on all 4. I mean, the presentation was, the one we turned down is better than most of the deals that I look at. But we turned it down partially because it was 400 kilometers away. And that was outside the 200 kilometer band. Because we want to operate on the hub and spoke method, meaning that headquarters is no farther than 2 hours drive. So you can get there and back in a day.
And at what stage do you recommend that to take place?
No, you get 5. Don't call a board meeting unless you have 5 companies that you've been through. You might have gone through 25 to find 5. And you bring those to the board meeting. You've already sent the board package, which is in that format that you got this right now. You've already sent it out to the board members. They've seen it. They're semi-prepared. Some board members don't read shit you send them, okay? You send it, I send it, you send it by mail and email, okay? The new generation only send it out by email. So they have already read it. They come to remember you meet with them the night before or the morning before the board meeting. The ideal time to have a board meeting, in my opinion, is 2 p.m. Last 2 or 3 hours, and then you go for drinks and dinner, which you're picking up. And so they've had time to study the 5 deals. And then he presents deal 1 after you go through the articles of incorporation and this, that, and the other thing, all the things that legally that are due because of corporate governance. Then deal 1, blah, 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 blah. Deal 2, and then by the time he gets down to deal 5, then there's 3 or 4 other things on the agenda, and the board votes which ones are we going to do. In this case, we voted on 4 yes, 1 no, and then the fact he could spend up to 10 million euros. Which was a lot more than he could have bought all these deals almost for 10 million euros. And then the board meeting's over, and then he has, you vote to him the ability, and the corporate executives, which is the CFO and himself, the ability to run the company until the next board meeting. And so we haven't had a next board meeting. And so the next board meeting is in April this year, which will mean it would have been 2.5 years. Now, a lot of the old guys, I said, they got nothing to do and all day to do it, and they want to have fucking board meetings. Because the board meetings they're thinking of are sex, drugs, and rock and roll in Las Vegas. In the good old days, you know, flying first class, you know. And you tell them, you get here, if you want to go, you get here on your own fucking nickel. And we still have kids buying them dinners they can't afford because they're embarrassed. They think the only way they're going to get the board member to come is by putting them in a fucking Ritz hotel, a suite at the Ritz, which is dog shit to me, but anyway, a suite at the Ritz. And if you've got to do that, you got the wrong guys. You got the wrong guys. It happens all the time. No, people that live not this seminar, the people that left in November have already taken people out to the Ritz for dinner. And they think that they're using my name, they can get a better table, which doesn't work. That's the only reason I know. I tell them exactly what not to do. You can't help yourselves, kids. It's like a heroin addict trying to get off the hard stuff. You want to, you believe you can, you pray you can, but you can't. And that's your DNA. You can thank your parents for that. And a comment Margaret said, and I can thank my parents, however he said it at the end. And don't go back and beat your parents up. That's a self-defeating process. But one thing I do ask the guys, ask your dad when you're alone someplace, next time you see him, was I on purpose, Dad? You got your answer. At least 50% of you are by accident. Some of you look like bastards anyway, but only 50% of you by accident. I like when they have a kid and after the kid's 4 years old, they get married. I don't get that either. There's a lot of things I don't get. Why would you get... I'm making the old slut, how do they say? Legitimate. Is that the right word? Yeah.
It's for tax purposes.
Oh. Yeah, I've heard that people. Why? Now when you live with somebody so many years, you can still write them off for taxes. Yeah.
Sir, about a meeting before the incorporation night and everything, you mentioned we do not follow Robert's rules.
No, yeah, thank you. No, at the meeting, there's going to be a chair of the meeting. No, you're going to be the starting chair. Again, I'm getting 2 days ahead. You got your board meeting, and everybody, well, I don't know if they shake hands. I haven't been to a board meeting since the corona, but anyway, shake hands, blah, 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 I haven't seen you. Okay, everybody sits down. And then you say, it's in the agenda, you're the chair, but then you're going to appoint your real chair to be the chair for the meeting, but you're the chair to start the meeting. And the first thing, words out of your mouth, and I used to carry a Robert's rule around, but I don't anymore. We will not be following Robert's rules for this board meeting, or any board meeting, really. And Robert's rules is the book, the Bible, the definitive Bible, the Quran, the whole motherfucker of running a board meeting. And it's about this thick. And by coincidence, the president of the school you got to explain about, Clary, my buddy Clary, Jim Clary, was one of the two authors of the book. Okay. And a lot of them will say, but in Germany, you can't do that. Because in Germany, you got to have a notary, and he has to read every single word of every single document out loud. And when I think I told you, and if everybody's not German speaking, then they're going to read it in your language. And I passed on that. I don't need to hear it in English. So 2.5 hours later, So that Robert's rule. You're not going to follow Robert's rule. And when you go to court, when one of your employees or partners is suing you, or one of your other directors is suing you, and they'll say that, is it true that you didn't follow Robert's rules? And what they're trying to imply is that you're trying to cheat the other directors. There's nothing cheat about not following Robert's rules. But it's highly unusual. Like IBM would never have a board meeting without Robert's rules. British Petroleum would never had a meeting without, It's the hoity-toity, blue blood, old boys club way of having a meeting. It also makes the meeting a lot longer, and they can get fucked up not one night, but 2 nights. And so that's why, but we don't use Robert's rules. Robert's rules. Yeah.
And so is that we just vote at the very end and not for each item? of the board meeting?
You're talking about, oh, no. You'll cover each item.
Yeah, you cover each item, but you vote at the very end.
The founder and or the CEO, if you're not the CEO, we'll cover everything in the fucking agenda. You're not skipping over it.
Yeah, but we don't vote on each item. We
No, I don't. I like one vote. I like one vote. One vote. And remember, you've already got everybody lined up. They're all gonna have your back, have your six. And remember, you got your resignation. Well, I don't have it now. And if they don't, well, sorry to see you go. And you'll be criticized when you go to court for having 100% all yeses. Who intimidated Mr. Peña? Who made him vote? Did you have a gun to their head? Did you have a gun, like you say in your videos, a gun to their 4-year-old child's head? Ma'am, you must have me confused with somebody else. But if you have watched my videos, thank you very much. But those are all metaphorical statements. Now, you won't answer like that. Because you're nervous and scared they're going to take all your pennies away. And if you don't have a good fucking lawyer, they will. Yeah.
So at first board meeting, we are officially setting up the board.
That's it. This is official. All those fucking bird shoots were just fun. And there's no law. BP, IBM meet once a month. That's because they got nothing to do and all day to do it in. And you go to a BP or IBM board meeting, I mean, it is a shit fucking kicker. I heard sex, drugs, and motherfucking rock and roll. They spare no expense. And someday you can do that. And even an old man likes sperm floating around at 45,000 feet, believe me. Yeah.
You said his second board meeting's in April, and didn't you approve him to spend $10 million the first board meeting?
No, $10 million per deal.
Okay.
Per deal. And he's been trying his hardest. Anything else about Andreas? But one of his deals, like you said, the bank didn't see, and I just don't understand that, but they must have made a special corona lending law or something. Because I used to think, and I've been told by really senior bankers, that we got to kick the fucking tires, Dan. We got to shake the tree and see what falls out. So in 3, 4, 5 years, when a lot of these deals, not our deals, a lot of these deals blow up, I mean, it's going to be like a soup du jour for litigation lawyers. So now you've had your first board meeting, and then you go out. And to the extent that you, the founder, and if you are a CEO, you will interface with the directors that you need. And you'll find out quickly on your first deal, when you're going out there, because you're going to go out there, kick the tires, and you're not going to know shit. Okay? And you're going to have an industry expert with you. But you can't expect the directors to go with every one of these motherfuckers because they're going to know we're not going to buy them all. So the second time you go back to visit is you bring a director. And as I told you the first day, if you really are fortunate, you'll have 1 or 2 directors that are workhorses, that they want to get away from their kids or their grandkids and their wives, go away for a couple of days. But if they bring their golf clubs, I mean, normally they would ask you, are we going to have any time to play golf? And you're going to say no. No golf clubs or tennis rackets required. We had 2 guys from the Gates Foundation come down to Arizona on a deal a long time ago. These boys looked like they were going on a round-the-world trip. They had their tennis and their fucking golf clothes and golf. Each guy had 2 golf bags. I mean, that's for the Gates Foundation, which is run pretty tight. Anything else about the bitch, Simon, the Nazi, Andreas, Thomas? Thomas has now got about 11 million in EBITDA and 40 million in top line. And the company valued based on the recent recap, I don't know, Maybe, I don't believe the pundits, but at least a couple $100 million. At least. Relatively overnight. Two years ago, last month. Yep.
How do they get that valuation of a couple $100 million on a?
Because what they do is they take all the big accounting firms, take all the public companies in that industry, they take a high, low, and medium case, and they give you a value between the low and the medium case. Now, I don't do that, see? Because I take the high and I do a discounted cash flow of the high. But but he's a techie. I mean, they get high multiples. You don't have to fuck around with the numbers too much with techies. Now, if you buy one chiropractor, it's 3 to 5 times. One dentist, you'll pay 5, and maybe you can sell it for 12 times EBITDA. And conglomerates, for those of you that are getting all hot and bothered about conglomerates, have relatively low multiples unless you have a IBM as one of your acquisition candidates, or a Facebook, or a Amazon. Then But some of the deals, cybersecurity, 20, 25 times. Artificial intelligence, 20, 25 times EBITDA. If not more. But you're not going to have a cash flow meeting debt service in any shape, manner, or form. But the old 60-40 deal, remind me, EJ, the first slides we're going to see tomorrow are the 60. In fact, yeah, let's show it now.